What's up YouTube, Capital G here, talking about OTS Pack 7 in this video and how Spyrals might not be getting hit on the ban list anytime soon because of it. So you guys know yesterday that I made kind of a conspiracy theory video. I said that I thought that Konami was setting themselves up to put Maxi back at 3 sometime soon because some of the moves that they were doing with the Extreme Force Special Edition, they just weren't typical Konami moves. They were doing stuff that was just kind of weird. They were giving us all these expensive cards very easily, arguably the best card in the entire Extreme Force, or excuse me, Flames of Destruction set for basically free. And now Konami is kind of doing something very similar to that. And you know, this pack just got announced, so if you guys don't know about what I'm talking about, I'll just go ahead and explain it really quickly. OTS packs, we know, you go to your OTS stores and, you know, there are a bunch of holographic cards that you can get and higher rarities, some ultimate rares, which I believe that OTS packs are the only ways to even get ultimate rares anymore. And then they get some rarity bumps, some cards in super rare. So Konami just revealed, or they officially announced OTS Pack 7. And one of the things that they specifically highlighted is how Spyral was going to be in here and Spyral was going to be seeing some rarity upgrades. And actually, let me go ahead and cover it really quickly in detail, so you guys will know what the heck else is in here. First off, we know that Cosmic Cyclone is confirmed to be coming as an ultimate rare, which I think is perfectly fine. Cosmic Cyclone sees a ton of meta play. People like being able to banish the pendulum scales so that they never come back. People like being able to banish the True Draco cards so that they don't get sent to the graveyard. We know that card is obviously strong. It goes on to say specifically that Destrudo is going to be in this set as well. And actually, this is crazy because in yesterday's video about my conspiracy theory, I specifically talked about, I mentioned Destrudo specifically, right? I said Destrudo is a card that if Konami had released it as an ultra rare or even a secret, nobody would have complained. And I don't know if Konami was watching us and they were like, rarity bump Destrudo. All right, Cap, we hear you. We'll go ahead and rarity bump it since you think that it is worthy of that. So Destrudo is confirmed to be getting a rarity upgrade. I'm guessing that it's probably going to be as a super rare because they didn't specifically say ultimate rare. And then they also talk about how Paleozoic, and they say popular themes, so Paleozoic, Spyral, and World Chalice are all going to be getting upgrades as well. Now to me, that probably means that they're going to pick one of the prominent Spyral cards and they're going to reprint it as a higher rarity. I don't know what card that might be. What is Sleeper's rarity? Sleeper would make a really good card for something like an ultimate rare Sleeper. I mean, every Spyral deck ever plays Sleeper. It's, you know, probably one of the hardest cards to counter in the deck if you get a Last Resort on it. But, you know, Konami obviously they obviously put this out there. And the thing about it is, this is why I think that we could be looking at Spyral, I don't know, going, you know, another 2 months before it ultimately gets hit on the ban list, or hell, even longer than that. First off, why would Konami tell us, hey guys, look out for those new Spyral holographic cards that we're about to give you? Like, why would they start building up anticipation and hype? Why would they start building it up in February if they were going to run the deck in the ground on the next ban list? Like, to me, that doesn't make any sense. You're not going to make it one of the selling points of OTS 7 if you're about to say, you guys, we're going to run this deck into the ground. So, you know, we're just letting you know Spyrals is going to be in here, but by the time you get these cards, this deck's going to be unplayable. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I know that some people are going to say, Cap, what they can do is they can put Spyral cards in here and then after it they can immediately hit Spyral. I mean, that's fine, and I know that people were probably going to bring up OTS Pack 5 and say, hey, they did it with Zodiac Whiptail, but you also have to actually look at the timeline. When I first thought of that, or I was streaming actually when this got announced, and somebody was like, well, Cap, you know, with Zodiac Whiptail, it was actually printed in OTS Pack 5, and then it got, you know, Zodiac got hit on the ban list. But you have to understand, that was a pretty significant amount of time before, between when the OTS pack actually came out and when they went ahead and hit Zodiac Whiptail, or Zodiac as an archetype like Broad Bull and Dryden. You're talking about OTS Pack 5 came out August 3rd, 2017, off the top of my head, right? We did not get a ban list. We did not get an update to the ban list, the one that essentially killed Zodiac as an archetype. We didn't get that until that did not go into effect until September 18th. That is 6 weeks after we got the OTS pack. So what I'm saying is, you consider, is it possible that Konami is saying, hey guys, we're gonna give you some Spyral upgrades, because it could be a couple of cards in the archetype. Spyral Tough, I believe, is a fairly low rarity card. I don't know if it's a common or a rare or whatever, but I don't think it's a holo, right? What if they decided to upgrade Spyral Tough and then maybe Spyral Sleeper at the same time? They give you those two cards. It's kind of incentive to play it. And then they say, all right, we're going to hit Spyral, but we're not hitting it for, you know, another month and a half. We could be looking at Spyral full power until, you know, going into like May. I mean, that would be obviously right before national season, and Konami could have a couple of months between the time that they have, you know, North American WCQs and the ban list drops. And the thing is, I think that Konami is starting to become more results oriented when it comes to the ban list. Don't you guys kind of just feel that way, especially when it came to like Spyrals, and how Spyrals immediately dominated like YCS Dallas out the gate, and everybody was like, okay, this deck is fucking unbeatable. And then they went and they dominated another YCS, and then what happened? We immediately got like a new ban list drop. It seemed like Konami was almost waiting. Konami was just looking, and they were like, let's just see how Spyral do at this event before we before we make a ban list. And Konami kind of sat around and waited. This is all, you know, conjecture and speculation. I don't have any proof of this, but it really feels like when new archetypes are coming out that Konami knows is going to be powerful, it seems like they're kind of waiting to see how these archetypes are going to do at an event before they make a new ban list. Like, that's what I think is happening right now as we move day by day, and we still don't have a ban list, and people keep asking. I find myself thinking more and more it's becoming apparent that Konami is waiting until after YCS Atlanta. You know, like if Spyral don't dominate at YCS Atlanta, if Pendulums end up taking, you know, 4 more spots than Spyrals, maybe Spyrals take, you know, 8 spots or something like that. Maybe they only take like 6. I think that it is very realistic for Spyrals to not honestly get hit until like May. I think that eventually, yeah, Konami will hit Spyral and they'll hit Pendulum Editions and even Trickstar. I think eventually they will hit all of those archetypes. I'm just talking about like major hits where Konami's saying, all right, this deck is now going to be like not meta, and you're going to have to play your ass off and play almost perfect if you want any semblance of this being a meta deck. Essentially, I'm talking about like killing it, like giving it a Zodiac treatment where you're banning like, you know, 3-4 cards in your archetype, and you're making it like, I don't want to say unplayable, but you guys get what I'm saying. I honestly think that this is kind of Konami's way of saying, we're just gonna wait this out. I know you guys want a ban list for the sake of wanting a ban list, but we don't want to mess this up. We don't want to rush it, and we don't want to do something that, you know, causes a bunch of damage that is unnecessary. I think Konami is a lot like NBA referees. They don't like to admit mistakes. Sometimes Konami will ban a card, and you know that it really doesn't fix a problem, or they hit a card and it's just like, well, that didn't solve a problem. Konami sometimes bans cards that don't need to be banned, and look how long it takes us to get these cards back. It usually takes an extremely long time for us to get these cards back. You know, the last time, in my opinion, Konami just blatantly admitted that they made a mistake was when they unbanned Snatch Steel. You saw that card be unbanned, and then on the very next ban list, they immediately moved it back to ban status. The same thing can be said with Konami in Japan with like Max C recently, right? They moved Max C to semi-limited status, and then immediately what did they do? They put it right back to unlimited. They were like, fuck this. We want as many Max Cs as possible, right? So if Konami does something to Spyral, like if Konami right now, before YCS Atlanta, just completely kill Spyral, there's not any way of kind of reversing that. Like if Pendulum Magicians completely dominate the event and Pendulum Magicians take like 28 spots out of, you know, 32, there's no way for Konami to just press a, you know, reset button and say, all right, well, it turns out Pendulum Magicians were more broke than Spyrals. Let's just go ahead and unban it, like undo what we just did. There's no real easy way to do this. In fact, look at the OCG and the TCG and how they hit Zodiac, right? We were obviously super fed up of Zodiac, and I think that most people say that when Zodiac got hit on the ban list, it was well-deserved. Zodiac had dominated the game. They had completely warped the format to where shit like D-Barrier was, you know, almost staple level, and we were running things like fucking Flying Sea and our main decks to combat Zodiac, right? But Zodiac in the TCG got hit not as hard as they did in the OCG. In the TCG, we still have Zodiac Barrage completely legal at 3. It's unlimited. But if Konami would have hit that, I don't think anybody would have cried over it. But they didn't. And I think if Konami would have hit it, it would have been kind of like, I don't think you would have seen a ban list. Like the next ban list, they wouldn't have been like, all right, we're going to give you guys Barrage back to 3. Barrage probably would have stayed banned for a very long time. Like in the OCG, I don't think Barrage is going to come back anytime soon because you still directly associate Barrage with Broad Bull and with Trident. And Konami probably thinks, we don't want to give people Zodiac back anytime soon. Now, is that example all that relevant because Zodiac is still unplayable? borderline into TCG? No, but there may be some hardcore fan out there who really likes playing Zodiac still and is like, man, thank goodness we still have my 3 barrages, because again, when Konami kind of like kills a deck, they don't generally give a bunch of pieces back immediately. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, do you guys think that there is something behind this? Do you guys think that it's a possibility that Konami is setting themselves up to maybe not actually completely obliterate Spirals until, you know, maybe May or something like that? Because I just don't get why they would promote Spirals as one of the main decks if they were going to like kill it, you know, next month on the ban list. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Now, if Spyral, you know, comes out at YCS Atlanta and they completely shit on Pendulum Magicians, then I reserve the right to change my opinion. But I'm basically going on the mindset that Spirals and Pendulum Magicians will be fairly even. I think if they both go even, if, you know, Spirals take like 13 spots and Pendulum Magicians take 14, or if it's like 10 to 12, I think that Spirals honestly aren't going to get hit until right before Nats. They're going to give us this product, we're going to have a few months to play it, and then Konami's going to be like, all right, that's enough, Spirals are dead now, we're going to make them unplayable. So yeah, whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, turn on that notification bell for daily videos.